All right, hey gang. No notifications, no bookings, no advanced warning. Just jumping online to talk about a game. Just Friday night. Let's do it, right? Let's have a look at this little bad boy and talk a little bit about it. If you happen to join in, that's great. If not, that's great too. Bill Gibbs, who sadly we have lost, he passed on several years ago now. Uh, Designed this system and really put a lot of heart and soul into it. It's a very, very detailed and creative look at the Ranger and the Ranger's operational activities and their efforts and things like that. It's a solo game. It's really more about patrol tactics and planning and mapping your exercise out. And then the events that occur along the way are kind of like a wonderful sidebar to the exercise. So I suppose I should try and share this out to Facebook. Let me just do that real quick, I guess. All right, I think we did that. Who knows? So here's the long and the short of it for all the folks that just have to have the answer right away and can't be bothered watching the video and listen to me crap on. Fantastic solo game experience and distinctly different from a lot of other solo games and systems either designed around the time or in fact I think that there's a lot of lessons that can be learned from this, but I don't think there are many games being made like this anymore. The ambush system was probably the closest that I would say would get to the feel of this game. And so much so, I think that I might actually try and do a live play of this at some point, just to give you a feel for it, because it is unique and it is different, and it has a different concept. So, where are we at with this? I just finished my first mission, and all my guys survived, so that was nice. We had to go check out a site and see if there was communications equipment there, and get the coordinates, all the rest of it, and then get back out and get picked up by the Hueys, and off we go. So the idea is that there were supposed to be multiple modules, and they started out in swamp terrain for some reason, and there's two other modules that are available, which are pretty hard to get right now because I think Bill's wife is or widow is managing the whole exercise, and so it's not really happening. I don't think folks are being responded to. I don't really know what's going on. But let's talk about the game, right? Now, I am not a solo game fan. I find 90% of most solo design games are an exercise in futility from the perspective that you're asked to roll the dice for the AI and see what happens. And then you just move the pieces for it, and then you create a little narrative in your mind. And generally speaking, I have not been either creative enough or relaxed enough or immersed enough in the game and the system to see that sort of narrative evolve. And I'll use Hunters as an example. I'll use RAF Britain as an example. And I'll use the venerable B-17 Queen of the Skies as an example. I've played all those games and walked away thinking, yeah, okay, I get it. That was interesting and not fun. This, for some reason, is different, and I'm struggling to put my finger on exactly what it is, but it's got a touch of the what's that game from DVG, the Warfighter series, where you've got to give your guys a loadout, right? So you've got to go give Wegman and Carney and Reese. You've got to give them a loadout. They get their weapon, but then how many ammo reloads do they have? Are they taking a claymore or an AT4, or everyone gets two grenades to start with? Then you've got to have the shooting units, whatever it's called, for the javelin thing, binoculars, radio. Who's taking what? And you've got a carrying capacity here, right? So Reese, he's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger. He can carry the big. Oh, wait, he's got an M4. Where's the dude that's got the 249? Oh, it's a weak one. Oh, well, there you go. See, I would have swapped those weapons around because he's got a carry capacity of 12. Anyway, the larger the capacity, the more you can carry, and then you get to walk at or move at the correct rate. Okay, so why is none of that marked if I played? Well, just relax here. Here we go. I have a chart. I've printed out these charts. They're not very well, very easy to read, but I'm using these types of things here to what is going on with the zooming here, bro? Well, it's just freaking out. Bear with me. Let me, well, that's just special. All right, I'll just leave it like that and not touch anything. No more zooming. Thank you, YouTube. So, hypothetical country in Central America somewhere, and you do this warfighting thing where you kit out your guys. You build multiple squads or a whole platoon if you want. I mean, this is, there's a lot of guys you can run, right? And then you move them across the board based on what happens in your interactions in the tactical events. And typically you're going to start on, I think it's paragraph 55, and then you choose the terrain you're in, and then you roll a die. Oh, it'll say, oh, you're now go to, if you're in jungle, go to box 64, and then from box 64, you roll a die, and then it has some descriptive elements in it, and then you kind of go from there, and then it decides what happens. So let's actually go to 55, right? So here you pick swamp or a jungle and go to 64, roll a die. That's going to send you off to 65, 66, or 67, and you do those. Now, depending on which one you roll up, you're then going to float off into either good territory or bad territory. And I guess ideally where you want to end up at is 117, and you roll on the 120 through 124 to work out if you're in file. I moved around mostly in file till I got closer to the objective. Then it's got these wonderful descriptive elements. Let me see if I can read one. The patrol's movement through the vegetation is slow and tiring. The terrain you have encountered is more difficult to negotiate than it appeared on the map. The leading element works its way through through the dense undergrowth. Keeping them inside, you glance at your compass to ensure the patrol is on the correct azimuth. You ask for a pace count by hand and arm signal. Signals relayed back through the patrol. The patrol continues to move on along the route. Then you roll. How far did I get? At night, I got 250 meters or 500 meters, and then you make some adjustments based on whatever's going on in the game. But things could get hairy, right? And then you go to an ambush. Let's see. Well, let's say you get ambushed, you get shot at, and one of your guys gets a minor wound. Well, now what are you going to do? Are you going to break contact? Are you going to hold position? Are you going to hold position and request fire support? Are you going to assault the enemy position? Or are you going to assault by fire and maneuver? Are you going to disengage? Are you going to disengage from enemy by bounds? Are you going to continue moving? So there's all these different choices, right? Wonderful, right? Then I think this is the essence of the game right here. Is at every instance, pretty much, I'm given an opportunity to make some choice in a sequence of events. Now, obviously, when I'm moving through jungle and I got to roll a die and it's 64, 65, 66, 67, it's one of four things. I have no choices there, but at some point there are these buckets of decision making that occur, and off you go, right? You will get to choose what goes on. I think that's pretty cool. Hang on just one second here. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. Okay, I was going to change something on the stream. Never mind. So you go through this exercise, and then in this patrolling tactics booklet, it kind of guides you through what the ranger does. There's a whole section of not just fitting out your guys and giving them kit, but how many hours are you gonna have to prep for the mission? And if you have a number of hours to prep for that mission, what are you gonna prep for? You're gonna prep for engagements? Are you gonna prep for ambushes? Are you gonna prep for recon on the objective. There are all these different choices you get to make about what you practice for. And then later on in the game, that's going to give you a die roll modifier so that if you trained for or practiced for, in parentheses, near ambush versus far ambush, you might get a bonus and that might shift the die roll from one column to another, which could be pretty cool. Gives you all these patrolling tactics. So you probably can't see because of the zoom, but you're moving in wedge formations. You've got squad movement. You've got your Overwatch movement. Uh, you've got your file formations. You've got bounding Overwatch. You've got your strong point setups and perimeter when you do stop to do a security halt, right? And listen to the environment. What's going on? Is there something going on? You get to a road or a track or a trail, and you've got this little. Okay, I've got to cross. Okay, I'm going to cross here. Well, so that security halt. You go to there's a section somewhere here that's got a list of all the different activities you can run. It's basically one of the key checkpoints that you roll into on a regular basis, and I don't know where it is because I don't remember. It might be. And here, somewhere, here it is. Yeah, the 126. So are you going, what's the action you want to do? So cross a stream, cross a trail, recon the objective rally point. Because you've got to build your route. You've got to build, where are you going to be? Where are you, what are you going to do when you get there and all that sort of stuff. So recon, you can, change your route on the fly, request extraction, dispose of casualties, all this sort of stuff. And then, of course, while you're going along, you get these events and you might get ambushed, near ambush, fire ambush. How do you react to that? Do you spot them first and then you react? So you try and do a hasty ambush. Super interesting, right? So anyway, the rules, the tactics are all in here. The types of patrols, what's a patrol made of, for squads and all the rest of it, machine gun teams, and there are partisans and all this sort of great stuff in here that's really gives you the flavor of the Ranger ethos and the Ranger training. I'm assuming that Bill was probably a Ranger or was best friends with one. Gets you talking about these movement elements again. Security, putting security perimeters in, and then once you get to your objective, well, now you've got to start rolling some dice around. Are you sending your security elements out first, the left flank, right flank security elements, and then you're going to go do that action, and then you're going to send the recon elements out. You're going to do the reconnoiter first, and then send your security out, and then send the recon out, the actual recon observers out. Do your business, see what's there. There's some results and some choices to be made, and then it's about then your exfil, right? So then how are you going to get out? And then you're automatically assumed to be 1,000 meters away, and then you take off up the road or whatever the case may be to deal with trying to get your extract. Couple little issues with the paragraphs here and there where you're referred to a paragraph and it's either the wrong number or it's not present. Only struck that once or twice, so it's okay, but just a little disconcerting, particularly given that there's, let's see, there are over 600 paragraphs in here. So that's, one or two errors in that level, at that level is pretty cool. Okay. I need to actually go back and check that I did the leader's recon of the objective correctly. Search patterns, right? How are you gonna do this? Ambushes. You've got these missions that you use to, which one are you gonna do, and all sort of stuff. You draw it from a deck, and then you go on to the next thing. And of course, you can have your mission canceled and then be retasked. So you may have just gone through, as I did here, 3 firefights, and you're on your way back, and now there was a paragraph missing. I didn't get to necessarily exactly specifically do my pickup zone, but I did I've looked at all the paragraphs around there, and you can just be okay, boom, off you go. You need to go over here and go find X, Y, and Z and blow it up or whatever. And if you've gone through 3 firefights, you might be pretty low on ammo because these guys have finite stores, and there's no special, magic card that's going to flip up from the deck going, oh, you're right next to the enemy. You find some laws. That does not happen. This is kind of, I'm gonna use air quotes, legit, right? So you have what you have. So you can pull a security halt and use that to redistribute ammunition and equipment amongst your guys, because let's say one dude's on a stretcher, well, you can pull all his ammo and give it to somebody else, and maybe he's the radio guy, so someone else is going to take up the radio thing. So very, very cool from that perspective. So this was my mission. I landed here. We got into a firefight right off the bat as we crossed the trail here, cleared that, got in another firefight, and I was like, well, screw this action. I called in Artie. It was kind of danger close. So I wounded one of my own boys, but not badly. Got one minor wound here, one minor wound here. Then we cruised. We just kicked ass, like raced along here, and then boom, got another intercept right near the objective. Had a pretty hefty firefight there. I was now thinking, shit, I'm 3/4 of the way through this, but I've used up quite a bit of ammo. I need to preserve some ammo. So I didn't use my 249, didn't use the 203. I used a couple of nades, and I sicked 3 guys with their M4s, and we shot up these dudes here, and then moved on from there, and then got to the objective, cleared that, and then had no further interaction going forward. So really interesting mechanical exercise, really interesting narrative, the narrative, the writing in here, sweat pouring down the face, uncomfortable, or struggling with the terrain. Yeah, mortar rounds impact the patrol's position. Everyone is down in the prone position, and the rangers hug the ground as the rounds explode. Shrapnel rips through the ground around you. Well, shit, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun, does it? You quickly drop off hasty ambush against the force pursuing the patrol. You continue moving with the rest of the patrol to lure the enemy into the kill zone. I didn't get that option. That sounds pretty freaking awesome as well. So sucks you right in. I am writing up some, mega essay on this. Who knows when it'll come out? But if I ever get it done, we'll see. I think it's pretty cool. This is a little template that you should use to. It says, here's your direction of movement and whatnot. And you use this to kind of orient yourself where's the ambush coming from. And it's got a movement scale here. Sadly, it's recessed a little bit, so you kind of got to hold it off and guesstimate. And you got your classic little, topo map. Well, it's not a topo map. It's but it does have grids, and then you can subdivide the grid by tenths, basically. So really interesting stuff. Super enthused about the whole exercise. Was very impressed with my first play. Since my boys all got out whole, I think we're going to have to do another mission sooner rather than later. Ranger, a exceptional solitaire game. If you can pick it up, you should do it. If you're a solitaire war gamer and you don't have this in your collection, you, sir or madam, are a dumbass, and you need to get it and enjoy it. Now, don't get spun up around the axle on the commentary. Don't get spun up around the axle on the paragraphs. Pay attention to when it says move 250 meters and expend 15 minutes. Everything else is narrative, and it's a rich, immersive narrative that will get you going. And the cool thing is the rules are literally 20, maybe 21 pages long. That's the rule book right there. No counters, no nothing. You get this template, a couple of maps, a couple of planning maps, and then everything else gets done on the back of, where is it? On the back of this, right? So when you actually get to your actions at the objective, you're supposed to draw on this with a dry erase marker and use this to mark out your activities with the, security elements and all the rest of it. I just put it all on the map because just felt cooler that way. All right. Peace out. Later. If I can work out how to stop the friggin' thing. Here we go.